If you're a healthcare provider, you know the feeling. It seems almost impossible to stand out. So how in the world do you cut through all that noise and actually find the patients who need you the most? Well, today, we're going to break down the playbook for completely transforming your practice using professional advertising.
Okay, let's just dive right in with the biggest challenge, right? The healthcare landscape today is, well, it's incredibly crowded. Just getting your message heard over all the competition, that's the single biggest hurdle to growing your practice. And really, it all boils down to this one fundamental question, doesn't it? Before you can even think about growth or bringing on new staff or expanding, you've got to solve this puzzle first. You know, this quote just says it all. It perfectly captures that feeling of just being completely overwhelmed. With so many options out there for patients, just being seen, forget being remembered, can feel next to impossible.
All right, so enough about the problem. Let's talk about the solution, because we're talking about a real game changer here. Something that can take a practice from that slow, steady crawl to, well, rapid, sustainable growth.
I absolutely love this analogy. Think about it. Without a professional ad strategy, your practice is kind of like a bicycle. Yeah, it's steady, you're moving forward, but it's slow. With one, you are upgrading to a rocket ship, an engine that is literally built for speed, for power, and for reaching a whole new universe of patients.
And let's be super clear here. When we say
without visibility, your business will not grow. I want to invite you to the next brand awareness event. It's designed for healthcare entrepreneurs who are tired of chasing leads, frustrated with the inconsistency of referral sources, and disappointed by the outcomes of paid advertising campaigns. This event is for you. We'll cover topics like how your content can start showing up on AI platforms like ChatGPT and Perplexity. We'll cover how to convert your website into a patient acquisition portal. And we'll talk about how to amplify your brand. This is the opportunity you've been waiting for. It's the insight and the information you need to fuel your growth. It's the brand awareness event. It's my personal invitation to you. I look forward to seeing you.
advertising solutions, we're not just talking about buying an ad. We're talking about building a complete strategy. It's about crafting a story that actually builds trust and nurtures your brand's growth over time.
So how do you get that rocket ship off the ground? Well, this next section is basically your playbook. We're going to break down the practical, actionable strategy you can use to start seeing a real impact right away. Okay, this 5-step process is your foundation. First off, it starts with knowing exactly who you're trying to reach. Then, you use data to understand what's actually working. No more guessing. Next, you create quality content that helps and educates, not just sells. After that, you've got to be everywhere your audience is. And finally, and this is the most critical part, you have to constantly measure what you're doing and adapt. Honestly, that last step is where most do-it-yourself efforts just fall flat. Now, the really good news here is that we don't have to invent any of this from scratch. We can learn a ton just by looking at what the absolute giants of the advertising world are already doing. So check this out. We can basically borrow the playbook from the biggest names in the business. Giants like WPP and Omnicom, they show us the immense power of using data to drive every single decision. Publicis Group has absolutely mastered personalized content, and Interpublic Group shows the massive impact of integrated, multi-channel campaigns. You can take these exact principles and apply them to your practice. Okay, that's enough strategy, enough principles. Let's get to the best part, the results. What does this kind of transformation actually look like for a provider who's right there on the ground, day in and day out?
I just love this quote from a provider. They describe the change as going from a dim, weak little flashlight to this massive, powerful spotlight. It's a complete shift that brings incredible clarity and visibility and focus to every single part of their practice.
And the benefits, they go way beyond just being more visible. Sure, you get more engaged patients and a stronger reputation, but what's really surprising is the impact it has on things like your operational efficiency. It even leads to better educated patients, which can directly improve their health outcomes. It really truly touches everything. And look, this isn't just a theory. Here's a hard number for you. One clinic used tailored social media ads and saw a 40% increase in bookings. And that happened in just 3 months. These strategies deliver real, measurable results, and they deliver them fast.
So, the big question is, how do you actually make all of this happen? Well, our final section is all about embracing the future and why, for most practices, a professional partner is the absolute key.
Think of it as the perfect division of labor. Your role is to focus on what you do best, caring for your patients. Your partner's role is to navigate the incredibly complex, always changing world of marketing. They're your expert guide, so you can be the expert caregiver.
And just look at the value they bring to the table. It's not just one thing. It's the combination of healthcare-specific expertise, access to advanced tools, top-notch creative, and solid strategic planning that makes all the difference. It's a full support system that's designed to help you grow.
You know, if you take just one thing away today, let it be this. In today's healthcare world, professional, strategic advertising isn't just a nice to have. It's not optional. It is absolutely essential for any practice that wants to not just survive, but to truly thrive.
So, we'll just leave you with this final question to think about. Because remember, by embracing these kinds of solutions, you're not just growing a business, you're building a legacy of care and making sure your expertise reaches every single person it was meant for.